Even my wife teases me because I like Overwatch because of she says the art style is cartoony or something. And it's like,
it's Blizzard.
I like a big boy games anyways. But no, all right. To make a real point though, going back to the Matt thing even, if they say games are for kids, but we're speaking in the language of people who play games, everybody our age and younger will understand what we're talking about. There are some people who are just lame sauce and they don't understand what a C9 is. Don't C9 the point. Get on the point. And it's like, oh, what is he even talking about? That sounds demonic. And it's like, you are completely detaching from an entire generation of kids. It's like a youth pastor who doesn't know how to use movie references to tell a sermon.
This is why the left started attacking me for trying to use pop culture references to explain philosophical ideas.
That's connecting dots. That's how you make a point.
Yeah.
This thing is like this other thing. Hitler is like Trump, or Trump is like Voldemort. Have you seen this movie called Harry Potter where there's a bad guy named Voldemort? And now it's like, oh, he's like Thanos.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? And then I'm sure there'll be some other pop culture thing that we can connect to, but you have to, if you want to influence a generation, like I'm reaching at our age and let's say lower, maybe up until 18, and I don't care what other kids are doing. But like I want to be able to speak in the language, A, because I enjoy games and that's not going to change. B, I want to make references that people are going to understand. If Biden uses Palpatine lightning, that assumes people have seen Star Wars.
Yeah.
I have to use the metaphor that people understand, or else it's too obscure and I get comments of what is this about? But that's why, Mr. Matt Walsh, I want to debate you and discuss why it's so important to get in the culture, make culture, and also understand what these references are. Don't say your hobbies are bad.
I think Johnny the Walrus is a good example of why they're struggling to do culture. Because look, I'm not trying to rag on the book.
Not to poop on it. No, it's fine.
Right. It's just the conservatives are very logical in their approach, and they're very rigid.
Cold.
I mean, I don't know if cold is the right word. I just mean it's like very matter of factly. Like in this book, Johnny wants to be a walrus, but you can't be. You understand, right? Instead of making a comic about a mad scientist who begins turning people into animals, and then the superhero has to defeat the mad scientist and explain why, and then the people, you could do stuff where a person's like, I don't want to be a tiger. No, what's happening to me? And conveying ideas through these kinds of stories. I guess the issue is for a lot of conservatives, they view the world in a very binary way, ones and zeros, very digital.
It's somewhat rational, yeah.
But that means it's like if you want to explain to a child why these ideas are wrong, they make it very on the nose. It's not very imaginative. It's very direct, And I
don't think it's an accident that like you and I are rather center-ish, and we grew up around left-leaning people, and the arts are traditionally left-ish.
Yeah.
And emotional.
Well, that's only because conservatives ceded the territory. Look at Captain America.
I think so. Yeah.
He's literally he's wearing an American flag, and he's beating up enemies of the United States.
Well, he was very relevant in the 40s and 50s then.
Yeah, I mean, he's Captain America. It's like you can't get more America first than that.
Yeah. And even the left now with Marvel and DC, they're struggling to connect to their audience because sales are as low as ever.
Remember that the new Warriors or whatever? Snowflake and Safe Space.
Was that a joke though?
No, that was real, and they canceled it. And one of the superheroes was Dora the Explorer. It was a fat Mexican woman who had a backpack she could pull anything out of. No. Everybody, yeah.
Dora.
Well, her name wasn't Dora, but she was Dora.
It looked like Dora. Oh,
yeah. Was it the new Warriors?
Oh, the magic backpack. Yes, I remember. I do remember that. I remember that line it was from the first X-Men movie when Xavier pulls up and he goes, "What's your name, Wheels?"
Yeah, it was the new Warriors.
Oh my God.
Marvel.com introducing the new Warriors.
That's Ramona Powers' ability.
Fat Mexican woman with a backpack she can pull anything out of.
Nah.
Then there was a dude who was called like, what is he called? The Internet or something? Firestar Rage Speedball. They made a character named Speedball. That's messed up. Like a speedball is meth and fentanyl combined.
Relevant to the children of today. Man, it's so boring. That's the biggest problem, is that it's boring. You have
Screen Time. That was his name. He's a Mexican kid who is connected to the internet. A meme obsessed super teen whose brain became connected to the internet.
Man,
after being exposed to experimental internet gas.
that makes me want to read the book so bad, doesn't it? So like, okay,
Snowflake in safe space.
at these companies, they're hiring obvious duds. They don't know what they're doing. How are we going to connect to the kids of today? They don't want to read comics, which is ironic because if you go to Barnes & Noble right now, the manga section, massive. If I was at Barnes & Noble yesterday at the mall up there, and there's like, let's say 20 shelves of manga and maybe 2-3 shelves of Western graphic novels. Manga is crushing
Oh yeah.
Western
Easily.
comics. And
better.
And what's crazy is you'll get conservatives that will just say, I don't know why. And it's like, okay, ask your kids.
Yeah.
Ask your kids why they're reading Death Note or
Dude.
Jujutsu Kaisen. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. On the cover of New Warriors, the twin brother and sister are lovingly embracing each other. And it's just like,
How fun.
it's so weird. I'll tell you why.
Demon Slayer.
Why do I like Black Clover or Naruto? Granted, Boruto is kind of over the top, and Naruto kind of went off the rails in the end with aliens and whatever.
Sure.
But it's really simple.
It's fun.
I think Black Clover is an amazing story for kids. For those that don't know, in this world, people who have magic will eventually get a grimoire, a book of spells. It appears before them or whatever, or chooses them or something, like comes out of the library, I don't know. And this one kid really wants to be he wants to serve the kingdom and be a knight or whatever in one of the famous knight teams. He's got no magic.
Alas.
So he can't. So what does he do? He physically trains to the point where when he goes into the recruitment training thing, I love that scene in the beginning, in one of the earlier episodes where the people with magic powers are supposed to fight each other to show how strong their magic is to get appointed to like a knightship or whatever. He has no magic, and then as soon as the fight starts, it's just like it's like an explosion of speed, and he slams the guy and just knocks him out, and they're like, "Whoa!" And what I love with this idea, what's being conveyed, even if you don't have the gifts, even if you are on average or like you're not as good as everybody else, you can work hard and become something powerful and useful.
Yeah.
You can, if you find your path, but you have to work hard.
You can meet or surpass people who are, quote, born with it.
Yep. The message of that, and Naruto is a story about an orphan kid who's a screw up, and he goofs around, and he's really bad at what he does. He's not Sasuke is the cool kid who's just super talented.
Yeah.
And then Naruto becomes basically the president.
Naruto only knows one good ninjutsu, right?
And he's like, yeah, and he's really awkward with it.
The clone, what is it called?
Shadow clone.
Shadow clone, yeah.
Yeah, so
these are basic Shonen Jump-ish. I assume Black Clover is Shonen Jump.
yeah, I think so.
Probably.
Pretty sure.
But like that magazine does a lot of like My Hero Academia is similar to that, where it's just work hard, make friends, trust your friends. It's okay to have
Shonen.
rivalries.
Is it not Shonen?
Shueisha.
Shueisha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, like, look, you and I are talking about this. I'm in my late 30s, mid to late 30s. I happen to just be basically literate about all these things. So if a young person, let's say we're at a church setting, starts talking about Shonen Jump, Black Clover, My Hero Academia, I can talk to them about, so you remember that the main character can train, and maybe they read the story, but they didn't connect the dots of I can become great too if I work hard.
Yeah.
So maybe a younger person needs an adult to point out that's the moral of the story. And then they read it again and go, wow, I didn't even know I read that. That's great.
To be fair too, with My Hero Academia, it's like a similar story. People are born with quirks. Basically, they have superpowers. Yeah. And this one kid isn't, but he really wants to be a superhero, so he trains a whole lot to become stronger. But then the most powerful superhero gifts him superpowers.
A piece of his hair.
By eating his hair. It's kind of weird.
But what's cool is that the power is so overwhelming that he breaks his bones when he uses it, the main character.
I love it.
That's
cool.
cool.
He like flicks and then his finger snaps.
Yeah, so he has to train his body to handle the power that he inherited.
Yeah.
Which is a fun idea.
And the hero and the villain, all for one and one for all.
He's very American.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
He's the Chicago Smash or something.
It's like the more powerful it is, it's a bigger region of the United States.
Detroit Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fun. It's dumb and fun. But again, this is Japan doing this. anyone who's our age and younger, or maybe a little older, your kids are reading these stories. It would be good for you to at least familiarize yourself with what these anime are about, or the manga.
Well, I think the concern for people like Matt Walsh is the creepy stuff. But that's why I said it's like saying movies are only
anime
fans,
is a medium. It's not a genre. Yeah, you have to be able to discern what's good and what's bad and what's creepy and what's not.
Plus, isn't there a bunch of like Christian anime and manga?
Yes,
Like with like strong moral messaging.
Yeah, I grew up with an anime actually called Superbook that I didn't even know was an anime. But it was fun and I liked the art and I didn't know why. And I later learned it was Japanese.
Yeah.
They just do a good job, and I gravitated towards it because it looked good.